Hi, it's Mike, and today I want to talk about metabolic damage because, we want to damage ourselves. We want to hurt ourselves. Metabolic damage, oh, it's so sexy, isn't it? Oh, yeah, look at that. You made yourself damage. Oh, great. Sorry there, channeling Sorsha a bit. Um, yeah, metabolic damage. So I've been going through a bunch of studies and I've seen what Durian Ryder and Freely say, and I've seen what Swayze says, and I ran across a study from released in 2010 that seems to give me some insight. So let's go over it. The first thing to understand is that metabolic damage isn't really a medical term. So you're not going to be able to go to a doctor and say, "Hey doc, someone's telling me on the internet that I have metabolic damage. Can you do a test for me?" Well, no, there's no tests for just metabolic damage. That's really just a term that's been coined by the fitness industry, the bodybuilding industry, and certainly it's used in the high carb, low fat vegan groups. But really what it is something that kind of encapsulates a whole bunch of different problems that the human body can develop when it's starving itself. I think Durian does a good job of explaining some of that here.
And they just drop these calories right down, and they lose weight, but then their thyroid's out, their cortisol's out, their leptin, ghrelin, all these things can get tweaked out. Then they have more calories, and they're gaining fucking weight back.
Durian kind of has the idea there, there's lots of things that can happen to your body when you starve yourself, so you really don't want to do that. And yeah, some of those things you have to starve yourself, enough. But even if you starve yourself for a couple of days, certain things can happen. The main one I'm going to talk about here is adaptive thermogenesis. What that is an actual medical term that describes how your body's metabolism adjusts itself based on the amount of energy that you're taking in your diet versus the amount of energy that you're putting out. The main thing with adaptive thermogenesis is that it kind of messes with your basal metabolic rate. The basal metabolic rate, the BMR, is a calculated value that that science has come up with to determine how much energy your body needs to survive. Essentially, if you're laying flat on a bed, how much energy your body's going to need you to take in. And so they use this calculation to help with people that come to them that need refeeding, maybe in a hospital setting. And as they've researched this, they found that in some cases, and most often when people are starving themselves, the actual energy intake that those people need or the actual energy those people are expending while living is lower than what you would normally calculate with your basal metabolic rate. So how significant is adaptive thermogenesis? It really depends. There's been lots of studies and they've all shown different information. And part of that is because of the way the testing is done. And part of that is because of the variation in the way different human bodies respond to different things. Essentially, adaptive thermogenesis reduces the number of calories that your body needs to survive. And that reduction in the amount of calories can be anywhere from 30 calories to 400 calories. What makes that difference? It depends on the individual. The other thing that adaptive thermogenesis does is it causes your body to store fat more than using the energy for other things. So anytime it gets some excess calories in, rather than say, well, adjusting itself off of adaptive thermogenesis, why doesn't it just look, I got lots of calories, I can increase my cell rate and try to use those calories, right? No, it doesn't do that. It prioritizes storing it as fat because it doesn't really because the theory is that the body doesn't adjust itself immediately because it's trying to protect itself should you starve it some more. So you have adaptive thermogenesis, or you've determined that you do because you've starved yourself, and you're like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm gonna start up Raw Till 4. I'm gonna go starch solution. I'm just gonna stop eating processed foods. I'm gonna do better. I'm not gonna starve myself anymore. I saw a doctor to deal with my issues with my mind, and I'm ready to eat. Well, for some people, they start eating and they're not going to gain any excess weight, right? They'll gain back the weight that they lost, but then they'll kind of stop there because their body will be satisfied there. For other people, though, they'll start refeeding themselves, and they'll get to where maybe they were when they started. Say all these clothes that they bought when they started were whatever size, and then they got shrunk way down to a small size, but now they're starting to refeed themselves. If they have adaptive thermogenesis working against them, what's going to happen is that they're going to probably gain weight beyond where they started at, because adaptive thermogenesis in their particular body is still prioritizing storing fat, and it's not bringing up its metabolic system. So it's just doing that. What makes the difference between a person who does and doesn't do that? Science doesn't really know yet. I'm linking that study down below that seems to think that there might be something to do with leptin concentrations, but they're not sure yet. So then what's a person supposed to do if they find they have themselves dealing with adaptive thermogenesis and they don't want to prioritize fat storing, but that's what's happening? No one's really sure what you can do yet. Probably the main thing to keep in mind, though, is you can't starve yourself. Starving yourself, you're never going to win. You're always going to have problems. It's going to create all kinds of havoc with your body, and you don't want to do that. That's not healthy. So how do you get rid of adaptive thermogenesis? How do you get so you're not prioritizing storing fat? Once you've met what you would feel is a proper weight. Well, the best thing you can do is throw away the scale. Eat a healthy, high carb, low fat, vegan lifestyle. Make sure you're never eating calorie content below your BMR. Get that calculated. Track your food. Use Chronometer to track what you're eating to make sure you're getting everything that you should. And just recognize that not everyone's going to be the same. Some people will gain, some people won't. Just make sure you're not starving yourself. Okay, so that's my take on metabolic damage. I feel pretty confident in what I'm saying, but as I said, the studies are ongoing. And we can't really say definitively what's going to happen. Certainly with Durian Ryder and Freely, they have a lot of experience dealing with people going through this change in their lifestyle, and they have a lot of time showing people how to go better. Is it the only way to go? Certainly not. Is it a good way or a way that anecdotally has worked well? Certainly. But really getting rid of the processed foods is probably the big thing. Getting rid of the animal products is a great thing. And just try to be happy. I guess that's what I would suggest. Happy with yourself, and understand that we're not all perfect. Well, if you enjoyed or you took something away from what I said here, please give me a thumbs up. Certainly, if you want to see more stuff, got some blood tests that had been done, so that'll probably be my next video. Also an update on where I'm at with my lifestyle change. So make sure you subscribe if you want to make sure you get notified of those videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye.